Hey, what's up, guys? All right, I wanted to make this quick do this quick live stream here. I've got Steve here, a friend of mine, who is going to talk about what I'm going to tell you guys about in a little bit here. But I'm going to wait a little bit until a few more of you get into the stream here. But basically, what we're going to be talking about today is the CARE Act and how you can basically get $10,000 pretty much for free if you just fill out some forms. Now, the catch here and the reason why I've got Steve here is because filling out the forms is not exactly the easiest thing. I see.
Right.
I see you guys. Trent, hey, what's up, Trent? I see Jeffrey here. What's up, guys? This is pretty impromptu. I didn't give you guys much notice on this, but appreciate you guys. Nathan, what's up, man? Michael, nice to see you. Appreciate you guys jumping on here. But yeah, it looks like we got about enough people in here. We got about 57 so far. So, all right. So yeah, so let me give you guys an introduction for you guys that are just joining here. Basically, yeah, 10K. I know you guys are excited about it. You guys are really excited. All right. All right. So here's the deal. Okay. Here's the basic deal. And I'm going to let Stephen explain this a little bit more because he's got some more insight into this, but I'm going to give you the basic overview while people are still pouring in, which is basically this. Okay. With the coronavirus stuff going on, there was the CARE Act was basically released, which essentially, and this sounds pretty incredible, a little too good to be true, but if you're a business owner and the definition of that is pretty wide, right? I mean, as far as like if you shot some photos for your brother's wedding and you did that as an independent contractor, that might qualify you as a business owner in this case. And you can get basically $10,000, and not just $10,000, but like right away, like within 3 business days, at the time when they actually open this and process this, and it's a completely forgivable loan. They're really calling it a grant. So you would basically just get this for free, and you're basically applying for a small business loan that will give you an even larger amount of money potentially. So it's a pretty wide range. So guys, if you're listening, and Steven's going to give you some more details, but you probably qualify for this, right? If you've done any kind of business activities, you've probably qualified this. So with that said, I'm going to introduce you guys. Here's Stephen. Maybe if you can give just a short intro, and then fill in the gaps here where so.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, folks. My name is Stephen Fowler. I probably the best way to say it is serial entrepreneur. A lot of people use that, but what does that mean? So, I started independent consulting back in '97. I built several professional services firms. From that, I built a software company that got acquired in 2008. From then, I moved from the Boston area down to Atlanta, became a business management consulting, primarily working in mergers and acquisitions. I look at P&Ls, I talk with private equity guys, I understand about capital, how to get it, how to sell it, all of that. And I'm always looking for opportunities to get quick access to capital, and capital as cheaply as I possibly can. And so as I started to see where the federal government was working towards providing capital to people in this time of need and lowering the threshold of what it takes to get access to that capital, there's just a tremendous opportunity here as part of the CARES Act. And primarily what the program is that the verbiage got reworked last week and eventually got signed by the president. And what the CARES Act primarily says is this: for small businesses, there is $377 billion that is allocated to this group of folks. And small businesses are businesses that are under $25 million in revenue, according to the IRS. Then from that, they further split that out into 3 buckets within that $366 billion, which is as follows: $10 billion for these grants. These grants are going to be issued in increments of $10,000. There is a single form that you have to fill out, and it only requires that this business, whether you are an independent consultant just doing business as under Fuzzy Bunny, and you just file a Schedule C with your taxes. This is not an LLC. This is not an EIN. This is, to your point, doing photography. you are able to submit under your social security number the ability to how you have been impacted because of the coronavirus and your inability to take pictures or write software, whatever it is that you do, ebooks, marketeering, whatever. And that what they're going to do is primarily the only bar that you have to pass is they will do a credit check on you. That's it. As long as you don't have horrifically bad credit, they're going to say you will be a good actor with this money as it pertains to trying to jumpstart this economy. And so they're willing to give $10,000 with a very low threshold, knowing that other than the credit score, there could be some people that are bad actors that might not use it for the best of purposes, that there'll be some fraud and abuse, but they've limited it to that first $10 billion. I don't know if you want to react to that.
Yeah, and real quick here, a couple people asked, is it bulldog mindset to accept free money, and some questions about, is this a scam? And I'll tell you,
I've got an answer to that, and so do you. So I'll let you go first. Okay.
I'll say, as far as bulldog mindset, here's the thing, right? So I don't like free handouts. I don't like government money. I'm not generally a fan of this. I think Stephen's probably not either. But remember, what happened here also is the government shut down business. They said it's not like they're just like handing out money for no reason. They literally told you, they made you stay home. They made you not be able to work or actually hurt your business by their actions. And so for me, I applied for it. I applied for it for both of my businesses, and I see no problem with it because I was definitely hurt by those actions. My sales have dropped dramatically. I've had a lot of, as far as the rentals, I'm going to have I already have some headaches, and there's going to be quite a few more, all caused by this, which, so that kind of answers the question of this, is this something bulldog mind? I'm in support of taking this money, because if you've been affected by this, and then the second part of it being a scam, it seems too good to be true. I looked at it, I thought so too, but I applied and it's not. I looked at the bill. You can look at the bill as well. You can see the words right there where it spells this out. You can go to the SBA page and you can see that as well. So it's not a scam in any way, even though it seems too good to be true. That's why I jumped on this immediately on Friday. Yeah. But yeah, I'll let you address that as well, Stephen.
Yep. So this is what I would tell people, right? So first, the federal government took your civil liberties away. Mm. You had no means of production to labor to produce income. So this is a way for them to say, listen, if you are a type of person who would like to try to labor, would like to try to produce outcomes for society, we have capital that will allow you to do that. So you're being compensated for the civil liberties that you've given up. Number two, for all the taxes you have ever paid since you first started paying taxes, don't think of it that you're getting free money. Think of it that you're getting rebated $10,000 over all the taxes you've paid up to this point. Congratulations, you were able to recover some of that money. The third is this. I would want people to be a good actor in getting this information. And if you feel as though through your providing services or being a leader in a business that you will hire people and not only help your employees, but the women and the men behind them and the children behind them, and you have the ability to provide a job where people otherwise wouldn't have the ability to do so, I would almost argue you have a moral obligation to get this capital, get business back up and running, and help people. So think of it as an opportunity to help others. And so if you think of it in those three ways, you should have absolutely no problem getting access to this capital.
So there's a question here. Do you have to have employees?
Okay. So we're going to talk about how this entire program works. For this first $10,000, no, you do not. You literally just fill out the form. You explain how you have been impacted by the coronavirus. And you basically explain that, you would need the $10,000 and you pass the credit score. And that's pretty much it. That first 10 billion rather, is going to go pretty quickly because it's on a first come, first served basis. I look at it like this. Think of it for businesses when the FEMA truck is rolling in and they're handing off bottles of water and bags of rice and stuff off the back of the truck. it's as free as what that is.
And real quick here, guys. So just to give you, well, a couple things. So first of all, if you want to get a jump on this, I know some of you are like impatiently waiting. Go to mycareact.com right now. I'll put it up so you guys can see it here. And it's a makeshift website that Stephen has put together really quickly. Right. And you can email him there and he will give you some options for some help with it. He's put together a package. We'll talk about that more. We'll talk more about this as well. But he put together a package that like an option to show you how to fill out the forms. And I'll tell you why this is important in a second here. But, just bookmark the site or go check it out. And then also an option to help you fill out the forms. Now, as far as why this is important, the big thing is here. So, guys, to tell you my story on Friday, when so on Friday, I heard about this and I was like, oh crap, I better go do this. So I went to the SBA site and I tried to decipher this. I looked at the bill and I'm like, okay, it doesn't even look like this is the same thing because it says disaster recovery. And it's like, what kind of damages did you have to property or business or equipment? And I'm like, wait a minute. So I go through the bill again and I'm like, no, this is definitely it. This is it. So I go and I download the forms and I'm sitting there and I fill out the forms online, right? And I'm like, oh shit, I have to print the forms. So I print the forms and I'm not even sure, like it's very confusing whether or not you're supposed to fill this out as you being the business or as you being, and there's there's places where you have to fill it out as you, the business, but then there's places where you have to fill it out as you, the person who owns the business or the entity who owns the business, especially when you provide your personal financial statement and all this stuff. So I literally was looking at this and I was thinking in my head, I'm like, $10,000, sit here and fill out forms for 2 hours and I'm not sure if I'm going to do it right. And I almost didn't fill it out. I almost was like, fuck this. I'm not going to do it. And then I was like, you know what, John, 2 hours, sit here, figure it out. Let's do it. And I did it. And there's still, and the thing is, time is of the essence. So at that point, when I was sitting down, it's kind of funny that Stephen called me up today because I was thinking, literally, I was like, shit. I was almost going to call my CPA, and I was like, I wonder if I give him $1,000, if he'll fill out these forms for me. And then
John,
I was like,
I can interrupt you with that. Here's the problem.
Okay.
What happened on Friday was the bill got released. Very few people have the ability to find the right bill, read it, map it into where you're supposed to go, get the right forms, how you should fill those out, how you should package it, and how you should get it submitted. And the problem is this: entrepreneurs this week, I'm not even going to call them entrepreneurs, business owners that say, hey, maybe this will help my business, and they get around to it sometime this week, getting in touch with their CPA, who sits on that communication for a day or two, and then they eventually get to the forms. It may be too late. And so, so what I did was this, and this has been something I've been doing for 25 years, because I do a lot of work in this space, both with statutory, regulatory, and compliance. If anybody wants to understand about what JIVU does, you'll understand why I know the space very well. I disseminated the act and I got everything together, and I pretty much over the weekend operationalized the package, which I know we're going to talk a little bit later. And so that's basically what I had done. But if you want, we can actually talk about this second bucket of money if you'd like.
Yeah. So just real quick to address also, someone said here, if it's a loan, it's not free. And it's not a loan. There's a grant and there's a loan, right? Correct. So you get the grant just for applying for the loan, even if you're denied, and you get it in 3 days, and it's completely a grant. Like you don't have to pay that back. It's literally just free money. Like it sounds weird to say it's literally just free money, but it is. And so and so again, guys, like I said, I went through the process of applying for it, and that's why, just to clarify, so you guys know why Stephen is here and what we're doing right now, is I wanted to give you guys the knowledge about what's going on, and then to tell you my experience, so that you don't just sit there and go to the site and like, oh, what the fuck do? I need some help here. So Stephen is putting together, he's put together a site, and he's offering his services to help you to do it, because time is of the essence. You want to get in line first, because if there's, it's $10 billion, is it?
So there's $1 billion in 10,000 increments. So there's 100,000 individuals and legal entities first come, first serve. And that
Right.
is the key piece. And that's why the website is just a landing page, because quite frankly, the best way that I can help people is not to create a snazzy marketing delivery campaign, but to get really smart, really fast, and create a process that will best help people to be able to execute against this opportunity. So that's why I elected to do. And that's what I want to talk about here today.
Exactly. And that's why, so just so you guys are totally crystal clear here, Stephen is offering to help. He's not offering to help for free. It's not it's not free. I mean, we're giving you free information now. You can go and fill it out on your own, and that's totally free. But it is going to cost him his time, and he's putting together videos and stuff to help you to be able to do this, so that you can get in line and be one of the first 100,000. Because once that 10,000 is gone, it's gone. Okay. Correct. And most people aren't going to be agile enough to do it. But if you can be there, that's why I'm doing it right now on Sunday, is because I want you to do it right now. So if you want to get in line and get in line with Stephen so he can fast track you to make sure that you're in line, that's why it's critical to email him now at that info@mycarac.com. So you get in line, because he's going to look through his emails, and that's going to be the order of how many people that he can help. So I'm just making this, trying to do this pretty urgently. And we'll talk about this some more. So just real quick, guys, if you want to take a second and you want to just jump on there and you want to email him right now, just so you get in line, even if you not sure if you qualify or whatever, just get in line, get a ticket so that you can email and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and see if it can quickly respond to you and be like, nah, yeah, you can't do it, or yes, you can. It's worth it for 10 grand. So,
right.
Okay. So back to you on the whole, let's talk about the bigger picture of this whole thing. Like you said, the multiple buckets.
Okay. So now we've addressed, of the 377 billion, we've talked about the first 10 billion. Let's talk about the other 367 rather. 17 billion is for people that have applied for loans from the SBA and are already in the process. They're wanting to fast track them and basically say, yes, 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 just rubber stamp all them and give them the loans that they need. So the remaining bucket is $350 billion. Well, how does that happen? What we do with that bucket of money is this: above and beyond the first 10,000 that you ask for, you can ask for additional money up to $10 million. So once again, the math there is there could be another 35,000 companies if they were to give the full 10 million across the board, but chances are there may be people that say, I just need another 20 beyond the first 10. I only need 50 beyond the first 10. Well, what is this secondary loan about? This does have some more accountability. The bar is a little bit higher, and they don't want you to just spend it on anything. They want you to spend it on the following. It has to be mortgage or rent, utilities, and payroll. That's it. You can't get capital equipment, and you can't just buy whatever you want and do a board meeting down in Cancun. You can't do any of those types of things. But as long as you use the loan money towards any of those expenditures, which is your typical COGS, right? Cost of goods sold, that you can ask for that additional money. Now, interesting enough is if you show that you do provide that money and you do keep your staff paid and you keep the rent and you keep the utilities paid, there's an opportunity for you to submit at the end of the loan period to be forgiven of that money. And they may be able to tell you that, hey, you've been a good patriot, you've gotten people back to work, you follow the rules, we will forgive you the entire loan amount. That's rainbows and unicorns. That would be great. That's, that would be good. But if you don't get the full forgiveness, then what it is the loan is interest free for the first 6 months, and then it will be at 3.75% thereafter. Now, there could be additional revisions to this to bump out that 0% rate beyond 6 months if this thing goes on, okay? Or the Fed may work to reduce that 3.75% to even a lower rate. But to get access to working capital, 3.75% isn't all that bad. If there's other ways that you can, leverage that income. So So that's kind of the loan portion of it, if that helps.
Okay. Yeah, that's good, and that's really useful. I mean, I'm not counting on getting the loan portion, but if I do, that's great. In fact, if you're denied for the loan, you still get the 10 grand. But even getting the loan at that low or forgivable, I mean, a forgivable loan is insane. But let's see. So a couple of questions here I want to address that some people have said here. So one person said that I thought you said it's free because the title of this video says free. It is free. The $10,000 is free. You can go to SBA right now and you can go apply and you can do it yourself. It's 100% free. We're not trying to charge you. I'm not trying to charge you anything for it. If you want Steven's help, because believe me, I have worked in personal finance for quite some time. I know about how to create. In fact, I already had a somewhat of a personal financial statement created that I could just modify. I already have a schedule of real estate owned. I already have all the stuff that I need to know for filing these kind of forms. And it was hard for me, right? And that almost prevented me from doing it. So that's why when Steven called me today for you guys, I said, well, hey, yeah, this is something that I would promote to my audience because it makes sense, because you guys are going to probably struggle with the form. Now, if some of you guys are fucking financial whiz and you can just go and fill out the form and you're not going to have any problem, then good. Then don't email Steven and don't get any help, right? Yeah, but if you go to your CPA right now, they're like, everyone is emailing their CPA right now. He's going to say, oh yeah, I'll help you. And he's going to charge you money, okay? And then he's not going to get back to you for 3 days. It's going to be too late. That's why we're saying, if you want to do it, jump on it now. And it's not free. Steven's help is not free. To go and do the thing and get the 10,000, totally free, 100% free. Right. But paying a little bit of money to get it fast track, to get the help to do it, I would have gladly have done it had Steven had contacted me on Friday. I've been like, dude, here you go. Dude, help me out. Here you go. I'm glad to pay to get $10,000 free. So that it does seem scammy. I understand what you guys are saying, but it's not. This is totally legitimate. It's right there. I mean, you can read the bill for yourself. You can go to the SBA site for yourself and see where it says it. In fact, they just changed the website now. And for you guys that are complaining about Steven's website on the mycarac.com saying it doesn't have HTTPS or any of these things, he literally just threw it up just so that you would because the time is of the essence here. All right. You can waste time trying to make everything pretty, installing an SSL certificate and all that shit. And we wouldn't get the message out to you, because literally like 100,000 people, and that's not a lot of people. I mean, the whole fucking United States are getting in line to get $10,000 free. Do you think you better jump in line pretty quick? I think so.
Right. So let me just kind of react to that. You're absolutely right. So why are you here? A, you might not even have known that this was even a thing, or maybe you heard it in passing, but now you're hearing a live broadcast that's disseminating the entire piece. John and I have spent our own personal time, spending a lot of time combing over this to give you this information. If you have filed your own articles of incorporation, if you file your own 941 forms and you do all of that for your LLCs, you're probably in good shape. Go to the material, do it yourself, and chances are you may do it at a quality, enough of a quality level that you will pass the bar and you will get the money. But the reality is there's a lot of people that may just say, you know what, I'd rather have a little more guidance and understanding what the provisions are of the act, put it in layman's terms, hand feed me what forms, because depending on if you're an independent or you're an LLC, there's certain things that you need to fill out and you need to get it up to the right website. You got to execute it. You've got to send paper copies to certain places. There is a process. And I'm just saying, if it provides value for someone that needs that extra guidance, gosh, we'd love to be able to help you if we can be of help. But we just wanted to bring awareness to the community that there is this opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the key. Like I said, you guys can go and fill out the form. I'm worried now. I'm like that I might have messed up on the forms, and hopefully it won't. That's the thing, is like, that's like, think about what's going to happen at the SBA office, right? They're going to get how many of these forms, right? And the ones that are not correct, I don't know how they're going to handle it, but I know that if I were handling it, I'd be like, yeah, okay, skip these guys. Oh, what is this? I can't even read this handwriting. Skip these guys. Let's okay, we have 100,000 that are good. Okay, bam, let's give them the money, because they're under pressure from the government they have to produce this money in 3 days. So they have to like,
and that's in the legislation. It says specifically that because remember the idea, guys, for a lot of people that think this is scammy, think of it like this. The US economy is a patient on a gurney that has flatlined, and they are trying to infuse capital as quickly as possible, which is essentially trying to jumpstart the heart. And that's what this is, okay? And they're wanting that $10 billion to be a bridge, the 10 billion rather, to be a bridge to that additional 350. And what's going to happen is this. Yes, the further this goes and the more that you get into the loan portion and the further help, the government's going to be doing more and more due diligence every day. So, you know, the idea is to just get behind the FEMA truck and get some stuff so that you can help the U.S. economy.
And just so you guys, because some people are asking, can you share the SBA link? Except they put SPA. It's SBA. Let me do something real quick. Let me just do this so you guys can see that this is legitimate here. Let me see if I can do a screen share real quick, because you can check this out and then you can see. You can decide if you want to, you know, get some help with this as well. If you don't, it's totally fine. If you think you're comfortable with that. I mean, I'm uncomfortable with filling out the forms myself. I'll tell you. And like I said, I've done a lot of this before. So this is SBA website, and then this is Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. Okay, and then they have this click here to apply. Okay, it's all U.S. states and territories. Apply for assistance. It's quite buried in here. Okay, so apply here. So then it's got for home loans for sole proprietor ones as well.
Yes.
But you want to click here, and then here's all the instructions, right? And then here's all the forms.
And those literally are the instructions. You know, this isn't like they've had a year to work on this and create good help, contextual help and guides and stuff like that. If you're if you're on the IRS website all the time and doing your own work and you don't use a CPA, you could probably figure this out, and you probably have, you know, as fair a chance as anybody else. But if this isn't something you do all the time, as I do, then you might want to have some help. It's up to you.
Yeah, and you can look at, you can see the forms. It's not a very simple form, and and they've got all the requirements in here in the form. So like I said, I mean, when I looked at this, I almost shut it. I was like, I don't know if this is worth me trying to get the $10,000. But then I was smart enough to actually do it. But
and the loan piece is more complex, right? So the loan piece is really like filing for a loan, and I've already gone through the process, and there's certain additional forms and P&L statements and things that you need to supply as supporting documentation for the loan. So, there's two thresholds. You can go after the 10,000, or you can try to, really revive your business and do so in a more meaningful way.
So David said it says $10,000 emergency loan, not grant. And it does say it on the website, but the way that it works is that they will advance you the 10,000 of the loan. Okay. Correct. So they're giving you an advance on the loan, but you don't even have to qualify for the loan. If you are not qualified for the loan, they just say, just keep the 10 grand. I mean, I know that sounds insane, but that's literally how the bill is written. And correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen, but that's how I read it.
Okay. So imagine a bunch of legislators who are lawyers trying to rapidly draft a master services agreement, an MSA, as rapidly as possible to handle something that's billions of dollars. This is the quality of the act that you get. And part of that is to accelerate this act. It's not necessarily brand new legislation. They shoehorned it into an existing IRS tax code vehicle to get this quicker. And once again, you have to get into how statutes and bills actually work and all of that. So it's a little wonky. But what I am telling you is you are correct. It has lingo that it's a loan, but if you look further down inside the statute, it will tell you that that first 10,000 is forgivable, and that they also have provisions where they waive all of the normal things that the due diligence that would be necessary for you to even get this money. They basically say all the other bars that you have to jump through, those are all now null and void. Fill out this form, and if you get the money, it will be forgiven.
Yep, that's it, guys. I know this sounds crazy, but yeah, at least check it out. Like check it out and see what we're saying is true.
And I
And
would just add this: if you go up to the site and you read it and you don't feel comfortable, then don't participate.
so, and someone's asking, hold up, are you seriously trying to say that they will just let go multiple loans based on this loophole? I doubt the IRS will be so kind. Honestly, that's what it looks like, right? I mean, think about it this way, right? It's like, okay, to me and you, yeah, let's say that you're unscrupulous and you applied for a bunch of these, and you have to have the EINs. So let's say you had the EINs, you had a bunch of businesses, and you just did this, and let's say you got $100,000. You're like, oh wow, that for the government that just basically infused $3 trillion into the economy. You think they give a fuck? They don't care. It's not a huge deal. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's a huge deal to you, but
that's the thing. Look at the scale. To maybe your average person, and just in business terms, $10,000 is nothing. Like that. For most even really small businesses, you can't even float payroll for a week with 10 grand. Like that's like no money. So for the government, 10 grand is it's even less than a rounding error. It's in the scope of a $350 billion. So they don't care as much as you think they ought to. But remember, the purpose of this is to infuse cash to try to keep the American economy from going under. Now, what I would also add, and John and I am smart enough to know about this, how is this going to affect inflation this time next year? We got to figure that out, right?
Exactly. Yeah, trying to figure out to buy gold or what to do, but we'll deal with that problem later. And get the money now.
If you guys are paying for $6 for a gallon of milk next year, and you sure could have used this $10,000, I don't want to hear you complaining because of inflation.
Yeah, the 10,000 is worth the real 10,000 now. 10,000 from a year from now might not be worth. That might be worth 5, but for now, the money's good. So
money's good for now.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone asked if they have a business with $0, should they apply for it? And my answer is yes. Like if you're showing negative, right? I mean, if you're just starting a business and you show a negative on your tax return for you showed a loss on business, but it's a business, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's surprisingly, people don't realize this, but most small businesses run at break even or at a loss for the first 3 years, and the IRS doesn't even blink at that. That's actually very common.
Yeah, and a lot of you actually, you're running a business and you don't even know it, right? There's a lot of you that a lot of the activities that you're doing, even if you're like starting a YouTube channel, right, and you're running a business, and you might not be making any money, so you might think I'm not running a business. But you actually are. And so you would actually potentially qualify for this. And not only that, but you would also qualify for tax deductions on your, so many people I talk to that are actually like doing entrepreneurial type of things because they're not making a profit or not making much money. They think they're not running a business and they don't put any of their expenses on their tax returns. And same thing with this, like you might not apply for this. So if there's any chance that you're running a business, even if it's DBA, which means that you're just operating under no legal entity at all. You're just calling yourself, Joe's Fish Shop or whatever it is. Okay, that counts. If you're doing it as an LLC, obviously, or an S corp or any of those things. But even if you're just sole proprietorship under your own name, even if you're just like whoever you are, and you don't even have an actual fictitious business name, that's still a business.
Yep, exactly.
So.
We can do more Q&A, or we can pivot to explaining a little bit more about how I propose to providing some help to the community.
Let me see. Brian just sent $10 and asked this question. He said, I started a biz in 2020 and my clients can't pay me, but I'm going to keep my servers up for them and their virtual phone service. So I just applied and said 0 in 2019 and give me that 10K. Smart. I think so. I think that's smart. That sounds good to me. I would do it.
And once again, for the $10,000, it's not so much you're talking about how you're going to put that capital to use. They really just look at your credit score and basically say, okay, and whatever's associated with your social or the EIN number, and say you're a good actor. They do have an algorithm that determines if you're a good actor, and then you would be able to get that money.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, guys, just real quick here, because some of you are mentioning, I agree with you on the idea that the money didn't just come from anywhere. It's American people's money. It's taxpayers' money. There's no such thing as free handouts. It's a combination of two things, guys. Though it's one, the federal government can just print money, which causes inflation, of course. And second, it is taxpayer money as well, right? There's a big IOU to, and you're going to have to essentially pay this as it is in a sense a redistribution of wealth. But if you're a business owner and you have, been hurt by this, like most of us have, then you should take that opportunity rather than let your wealth be redistributed in a way and to other people. That's my take on it.
And John, only because I hear this, I'm concerned that it's a scam. I'm concerned that it's free and all of that. Here's what I would say. The reason why they're doing this is they're trying to put hands in the people who are good actors, that are people that this money should be in. I am not advocating for anyone to independently fill this process out, take the $10,000 and don't use it towards helping customers, employing people, and keeping yourself, even if it's just an employee of yourself, out there and providing value. That's what this is for. So I want people to understand that, we want to be good citizens with the money that we would get from this, whether it be this or the loan.
Let's address this one real quick. He says, okay, so let's pay you now for a fake government site because calling someone that'll arrest you will be too late for us to get fucked. So first of all, I think I know what you're saying. So this is not a fake government site. Steve's site, literally, he just threw up mycareact.com. It's not a government site. Okay, right. It's just Steve's site that he just threw up just to put an email address so you guys can email because time is of the essence here. Right. Second of all, you can go to the real government site and go to the SBA loan that I just showed you. You can Google, in fact, just Google SBA and then click the first link and then click through where it says COVID and click through just like I did, and you can find it yourself. Or you can Google the CARE Act bill and you can look through the 800-page bill, or you can look up what different news sites have said about the segments of it that we're talking about and see that that's legit. So second of all, again, you can do this 100% free. I am just offering you guys through Steven the service of his expertise in this to help you to fill out the form if you want the help to get it in quickly. Because if it's going to take you a couple of days to fill out the form and you're going to have to go back and forth and try and figure out all this stuff, and you get the form wrong and they send it back to you, and then you may miss the window. So that's the opportunity that you're getting here. But you can do it yourself and you can do it 100% free. I just want to be completely transparent so you guys understand here that when I was sitting there down on Friday, I was like, shit, I wonder if there's, it would be great if someone could actually help me fill out this form. And I thought about contacting my CPA, but I was like, yeah, he didn't even email me, that guy, right? I mean, because he's busy, right? He's going to get how many people that are going to ask about this. So this is an opportunity to get some help with it if you want. If you don't need help with it and you're like, John, you just told me how I can get $10,000 and sure, then yeah, that's it. Like there's no strings attached here. If you want help, you can get help.
So John, in the live stream, and I don't know if this shows up for you, I've done one of two things. I provided the fully qualified URL to congress.gov of the CARES Act. Read it for yourself. It's right on congress.gov. The other thing is I provided the link to the SBA, also a .gov. This isn't a .com where it's we're trying to put something out in front of the websites. Feel free to read the bill like I did. It took me all day Friday. Feel free to go to the website, and if you've got the time to do this and can execute quick enough, then that's great. If you want kind of like the fast pass down at Six Flags, and I can be of value to accelerate, you're getting this done. We're offering that help.
Let's see. And Sarah asked here, she said, what if I accidentally get accepted for the loan? It would mean trouble. I don't want no loan, just a grant. How is this guaranteed? So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to accept the loan just because you get qualified for it. In fact, even if you fill out this form, my estimation from working, I've gotten an SBA loan before for buying a building before, and I can tell you it's not an easy process. I think they're going to fast track it, but at the same time, just filling out this form won't be enough. They're going to come back. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to but they're going to give you the money regardless, and they're going to send that to you 3 days later because that is mandated by Congress. So don't worry about it. If you don't want the loan, you can be like, yeah, you know what? I don't want the loan. I don't need the loan.
And that's a good point. There's a separate form to fill out for the loan portion. So if you wanted 50,000, so the first 10 plus an additional 40, there's a additional documentation, and that does start to get more towards a typical business tax filing, right? Additional forms, additional like a P&L statement, and additional information that you have to submit with it. And so yeah, no, you won't be just getting a check for 50 grand and be figuring out, oh, am I going to be diligent with this money and what do I need to do? It's not like that. The first 10,000 is going to come very fast. The additional monies is different.
Let's see. And Matthew Ortega said, does an individual qualify? And Matthew, so what we were talking about, you might have missed it, is that if you're an individual doing business as a business person, you would qualify in that case. Think of a 1099 contractor or as someone who's creating a business at all. You don't necessarily have to have an LLC or an S corp or anything like that. But just as a person, you're not just getting $10,000 as a person. There's the $1,200 and that whole thing. That's a different thing. And there's the unemployment benefit of the $600 for, was it like 8 months or something? That's a totally different thing. This is designed for small businesses, but the definition of what is a small business for this purpose is pretty broad.
Right. So let's go ahead and create a scenario. And I liked your photography. Let's say at the beginning of this year, January 1, you started a photography business and you were collecting money. And you were kind of thinking, do I just kind of do this under the table? But, the side hustle is really something I want to do. I will punt. And later in the year, if I get enough clients, I will file a Schedule C and do it over the table and recognize that revenue. And that will be my business. This is an opportunity for you to say, you know what? I have just decided that side hustle that I wasn't too sure about what I was going to do is absolutely above board right now. It is a full-fledged photography business. It was from January 1. I need that $10,000, and here's how I'm going to put it to use for the photography business that I started this year.
Yep.
That's what this would basically do for you. It would allow you to take that startup, get an influx of $10,000 of cash, to then move forward with it. That's why I contacted John as an entrepreneur. To me, guys, when I read this, there is no better time to get access to working capital to start your business or to grow your business. And you know what? Once people start getting healthy and the economy starts going back up, which it will happen, you will have a business that is fully funded, ready to execute against a healthy American. And it's going to go right back to 30K. I don't know how long it's going to take, but when people get healthy, it's going to go back.
So a couple of questions that people had here. So let me see here. Okay, so here's one easy one. Is a single member LLC considered a business or individual? I'll let you.
Yeah. So you filed articles of incorporation. You have 51% shareholder of the LLC. It is a legal entity, and you would file that under an EIN number that you got from the IRS. So that would be a business. Now, in addition to owning that business, if you had a side hustle, you could do both. You could file for the LLC, and you could also file for the individual photography business. You may get both, or you may just get one or the other.
And my understanding is if they're the only person on the LLC, then it'll be a pass-through entity. So they'll use their SSN instead of the EIN for the...
That is correct. And that is what and this is why I don't have the website up. And it's, I could have been spending a lot of time creating market material, but I wouldn't have had true value that I was providing you. The thing that I'm trying to determine, and it's going back and forth how this actually works under the covers, is they are trying to link you as an individual, your social security number, to what percentage of an owner you are of the LLCs and the S corps and all of that, so people aren't double dipping. So there may be a thing where they will give you the money for the LLC that you are the primary shareholder of, but pass on giving you additional money for the photography business. I'm working rapidly to understand what where the guidance is coming, so that I can help people with that as well.
Here's a good one here. Lyft driver or like an independent tutor. So
The Lyft
Right?
driver,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like they know that you're an independent consultant when you're an Uber or a Lyft driver. You are absolutely who they have in mind for this $10,000.
So even if you if you're like, oh, I think I'll try Uber, and you did it like one time and you got paid for Uber, you're a business for this year. So go get your 10 grand.
Bottom line, if you've gotten a 1099, you are an independent consultant.
Let me see. There's another one here. Okay. There. All right. Here. Oh, here's a. Okay. So this is a reply to someone else. He says, I'm thinking you can get the 10K and just have it sit in your savings account until you get it forgiven. You guys are misunderstanding it, David. You don't even have to play any games. Literally, they're gonna send you 10 grand. It's forgiven immediately.
3 days, forgiven immediately. So this is how it would work. You get the 10 grand in 3 days, deposit it into your account or a check if you don't have a company bank account. Then if you applied for the loan and you asked for an additional 40,000, they would give you a check for 50. The first 10 would be free. The next 40 would be a loan, interest free for the first 6 months. And then yes, at the end of the 6 months, you can say, here's your 40,000 back. Thank you for the free 6-month loan on $40,000. I was able to buy, fix, and flip a house with the 40 grand you gave me.
Here's another one here. CJ says, I started a photography business, but did not collect income. I have photos and video, but need funds for more equipment and to finalize FAA Part 107. Will this help? Right? It makes sense. He doesn't have to have made money. You're still running a business, even if you're operating at a loss.
Yep. If you're operating at zero income or at a loss, you're still running a business.
And make sure you put those business expenses on your tax deduction on your taxes as well, CJ. So
maybe this will help, and this is where I'm kind of help you guys as a business management consultant. For the lay person, we see if a business is running at a negative operating level, meaning you have negative profits, you wouldn't go brag to your friends about that, right? Because to us, that's like a really bad thing. But it's not really a bad thing in the eyes of the IRS. Why? Because you are facilitating labor. You are facilitating people getting W-2s. And what do those people that collect W-2s do? They pay income tax. So the fact that you're willing to work for a business that makes no profit, but yet you or your employees bring in income to the IRS on your W-2s, they have no problem with that. That's why the IRS doesn't blink when a company is not profitable. They want to just have that, the payroll taxes coming in.
Let's see. And then Wade World TV says, yo, John, if I'm an American but stuck overseas in quarantine, can I still apply for the money? Will I qualify? Yep. I would say yes. I don't see any reason why you couldn't, right? So,
yep.
And again, one more quick thing here, guys, just as a disclaimer here. Neither of us are CPAs or lawyers. So we're not giving you any kind of legal advice. Nothing we're saying here is guaranteed. You don't think that you're going to automatically get the $10,000. We're just trying to help you from both of us being business owners and Stephen having expertise in this exact kind of thing for businesses. Right. But this is not in any way legal advice or in any way, tax advice. We're not qualified for. So you can double check all these things, and I welcome you to go if you can get a hold of your CPA in time or your lawyer and call them and check it. Be like, hey, these crazy guys are telling me this thing. It doesn't seem possible. Is this true? Go check it. Right. And get some advice and get them to confirm it. And, do your due diligence if you want to do that. But I just want to be totally transparent here because there's nothing fishy or scammy about this. I know it seems really weird, but if I didn't tell you about this, I would be doing you a huge disservice. That's why I'm doing this right now on Sunday, trying to get this out as quickly as possible. Like I said, if you get nothing from this, if you're just like, hey, I just learned about this, I'm going to go to the SBSA and I'm going to go apply for it myself and get $10,000. I'm just glad to help you. We're just glad to have helped you, right? If you need help filling it out, that's where you can get Stephen's help. So just to be totally clear and transparent with you guys, there's nothing up my. I don't even have sleeves. So
if this can be of value to just bring awareness to the opportunity and that people that have the skills to be able to execute against this opportunity independently, great. Get started as soon as you stop listening to us here on this live stream. That's fine. If your intention is to get in touch with your CPA on Monday, I'm telling you, you are probably going to take too long to execute against this opportunity. And maybe we can be a bridge to help address those people in the middle.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've pretty much covered it here, unless anyone's got any really pressing questions that we haven't answered here. And you can always ask, Stephen, use that website, go to the email address there, and he can answer your questions. But if you have any chance of thinking that you might qualify for this, it's worth taking the chance to at least email and find out. If you want to do it yourself, go for it. If you need some help doing it, it's going to be worth it for you. And Stephen's going to give you his best opinion of whether or not you're qualified for it. So you're not just going to waste money,
Right.
on getting some help with this. So yeah, I think, let me see if there's any other questions here. The only restriction I saw in there, any reason you might think that we cannot get qualified, or hold on, where is it? The only thing I saw in the application was that it asked like if you had any relatives in the SBA, if you had like the standard set of things that you would think, like had you defaulted on any loans, had you I think, but I'll say this. Even if you answered yes to like you're a felon and you default on loans, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know what you think about this, Stephen. Again, I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure they would still potentially give you the $10,000 because you're just going to get disqualified for the loan because that's what they're checking there.
So I would say it's this. Based off of your credit score, based off of your track record of having the business open for multiple years, having had employees and all of that, that's all going to go in your favor down the road when you do a loan. Short term, the bar is going to be very low. They're basically going to take a look at the form to see what you said yes and no to, pull a credit report, and as long as your credit isn't horrific, they will say that you are a good actor and they will give you this funding so that you can go out and run the business. The bar is very low on that. The loan, there is more due diligence. Yes.
Yeah. Think of it this way, right? So they get all these applications in. Probably what they're going to do, and the reason why they're giving you the $10,000 advance with no strings attached is because they want to get the money into the hands of the people right away. And they have to do it within 3 days. So They're basically saying, okay, we're going to spend, 10,000 times 100, 100,000 people. We're going to spend this money to get it in there right away. And then even if 50% of these people aren't qualified for loans, it doesn't matter because it was worth it to get the money out there so that you can start using that money right away. Yeah. And then they're going to go back and review the loans and the applications and say, okay, are you actually qualified for this loan, and determine the amounts and all that stuff. And that's going to take time. But the idea is like, if they just went and just checked to see if you're qualified for the loans, it would take perhaps weeks of time. And by that time, you're going to be laying off employees. You're going to be not paying your mortgage or your lease or all these things. So they're basically saying, okay, we want all these people to apply for the loans, and then we're going to give them $10,000 right away to hold them off while we're reviewing their loan application so they can make it to the week or 2 week process it'll take us to review these and to get the loans actually approved and out. That's at least that's how I'm looking at it.
Well, and right? if you read the provision, which I've done, and once again, part of the program is that if you work with me, and you're basically just paying me for the research that I've done and the time to help you, is to step you through the loan process if you want to go with that. And because the loan process even divvies out that you will get the first $25,000 of the loan in the first 5 days. So you get the $10,000 in 3 days, you get $25K in 5 days, and then there'll be distributions of the remaining part of the loan. So once again, all I am is kind of your Sherpa, right? Trying to guide you if you need help. So that's what I'm trying to do here.
All right. Well, thank you, Stephen. And guys, if you need help, go check it out. Go to mycaract.com and just it's basically just Stephen's email address to help you get in line though quickly, because I don't know how many people he's going to be able to help. That was my biggest concern. I was I don't know how many.
Same thing with me. It's going to be first come first serve people that I want to be of help, and then I'm going to try to make myself as available night and day between now and when, the spigot gets shut off. So.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Stephen. And
No
good luck, guys. Hopefully you get the money.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Take care.